Here is every Ragnarok rathole. First we're going over all the land rathholes and then over the underwater rathholes. Spot number 1 at 23:18.5. Now we're close to the blue up. Right here on the edge. Down here you have a really small rathole. Only good for beginners, this is not special, bets don't work here. Second spot at 24.4, 27.5. Again, close to the blue up, near this water. And on the edge over here, if you go down, under this flat rock, you can see in the wall here, you got the sloped rock and this sort of cave area tunnel. Right here by the sloped rock, you have the entrance. It's a pretty small entrance, but also a pretty small base spot. This is okay for early game, and bets do work, so that's gonna help out a lot. Rattle number 3 at 33.7. We're in the snow area. This is a pretty known spot, mostly built on every server. If you go down here, you got this little cave entrance. If you go in, and then right to the top, you have the crouch entrance over here. So you do have to crouch. So this is a pretty strong spot. That's why it is always taken as well. Bets do work here. However, it is 6 times damage. So watch out for that. You got a decent amount of space and a really good entrance. Just be careful of meshes. Number 4 at 34.8. Again in the snow, pretty close to the other one. Right down here, if you go down, you're gonna see this corner with the elevated snow rocks, whatever this is. You can go behind it and you're into the cave. You got this little entrance area. Got a little elevated spot. It's not that useful. Bets do work here. The good thing about this base spot is in the back it is 6 times, so you can place bets, and the front is not 6 times. You can go all the way to the back here, into this area. This is kind of a weird area. You can see through here, but you cannot go through there. So it's a bit weird, but number 5 is at 32.8, 34.2. Quick look around again in the snow. Right down here, you can already see this weird shape. Of course you can go through here. You have to crouch to get through. So getting out is a bit hard, but all you have to do is crouch and then grapple out. Or throw a tame out and ride it. Whatever works for you. Bets do work here because it is 6 times damage. The good thing is though, all the way in the front it is not 6 times, but over here it is. You got more working bets. Got this long tunnel back here, but there's not much space. Number 6 at 37.6, 30.4. We're in the start of the canyons now. Quick look around here. If you go all the way down there, you have the bridge and this elevated platform. And right underneath there, you got the entrance. This is not a big spot, but it's pretty hidden. Got some room down here. This is definitely enough room for early game. And you can go all the way down here. However, there's not much you can do here. Number 7 at 38.6, 31.3. We're under the natural bridge we were just at for the other rattle. But now we're down here. You can see this kind of... well, almost like a floating rock. It's not floating, but you know what I mean. I hope. If not, then that sucks. Here's the big entrance. You can go all the way up here. You have space for defenses all over here. And then when you go all the way to the top, you have room to build here. And on this platform. And also if you go down this crack, there is another room here. So you could also build here. However, you have to be careful of meshes. Oh yeah, and bets do not work here. Rattle number 8 at 40.8, 31. Quick look around. We got the bridge there and the other rattle over there. And right across to the right of this waterfall. Underneath you have a giant entrance, which you can of course go through. Now, if you go on top of here, you will see that there's another entrance right here. which is not a problem for the base spot, because the base spot is to the right. Over here, and you can go all the way to the top. However, beds do not work here. This is a decent build early game, but I wouldn't stay here since you can build into this base spot. If you do plan on staying here, you have to spam this whole area and of course place turrets down below. Rattle number 9 at 40.3, 36.9. There's the bridge. Quick look around. And right here in this corner, you have this little platform. This one is kind of hard to find, but you have this edge behind here. And if you go in, you can go down over here. You have a little bit of space. This one is not the strongest, but it is pretty damn hidden. And I have not seen a lot of people build here. That is either because people don't really build here, or because they got wiped in 2 seconds. So, I don't know. Bets do not work. At 40.4, 38.2. We got the bridge rattle. This one is very known. I'm pretty sure beforehand you had a entrance right there, but that one is removed. Now you have to go to this side of the bridge, and then into the corner. You got the entrance right there. You do have to crouch. You got this area you should put full of defenses. And then you got the stop area. Watch out for building too close to the walls and ceilings, because they might be able to hit stuff through the walls. You got a pretty big base spot. This goes on for quite a while. Next up at 39.9, 38.7. Right under the bridge. Quick look around. Got a Pelagranus right behind this rock over here. You do have to destroy this rock. Why is it not destroyed? What the hell? Yeah, for some reason C4 doesn't blow up rocks anymore. I don't know why. However, you need a Pelagranus to get into here. So throw a Pela out. Even other teams like a PT will probably work. Griffin is, I think, too fat for this, but you can test it out. And you got this giant space. Get to the right here. Platform up high. And you got water down below, which could be very useful. Next up at 40.9, 43.2. Quick look around. We're in between these pillars next to the waterfall and these logs. And if you go down here above this little pool of water, you can already see the back here. You got this little spot, which is fine for starting out, but that's it. Bets do not work here. Next up at 40.7, 47. Again in the canyon. And right down here, you're gonna be able to see the rattle already. You can see the entrance right there, but you will also notice that you're... Oh, I'm in ghost mode. I'm sorry. But you will also notice that you're too fat to fit through here. Yeah, those hamburgers were not a good idea right now. Throw out a Pelagranus and get into here. And once you're in here, you do fit through the second one. Congratulations. Now, you have a pretty decent area, but of course the back mesh wall. Be careful of that. Sadly, bets do not work here. Next up, we got another Pelagranus rattle at 35.8, 49.4. Quick look around. Oh, stop flying. And in this waterfall to the right, this one is also very popular. Of course, you cannot fit through here. You can either get a Pelagranus, which is a lot cheaper, or you can use this skill, industrial, something, whatever, and you can actually place a teleporter here. Beds do not work, so you cannot place a bed here, sadly. Once you're in here, you have the top water, but the bottom is just normal air. And you got a decent amount of space to work with. Next up at 39.9, 50.4. I could have made it 40 real quick. At 40, 50.4. You got this waterfall over here. It's a double waterfall, but you want to take the right one. Take the right one. Okay, never mind. You want to place a foundation here so you can walk on it and crouch. Like here. And then you can walk right through. Otherwise you have to use a chair or something like that, but foundation is easier. Oh, you cannot fit through there. And right here the water stops, so don't fall to your death. Brings parachutes. Or attack boots, whatever you want. And you got a nice amount of space. You got a little bit of water down below, but it's not enough to raise anything in. Sadly, beds do not work. Next up at 20.2, 48.3. You got this cave here, there is an entrance on the top. It is in a mountain, by the way. You also have an entrance right there and right there, so enough places to get in. You got this elevated platform with a lot of metal, so you do have metal nearby, which is nice. And then right in the back, you got a little space for a base. It is really small. This is not 6 times, by the way. I did expect it to be, because it's in a cave, but it's not. The beds also do not work here. Next up at 41.6, 15.7. You got this little castle over here in the swamp, and a nice little radio there. If you go into this building underwater, and then right there you have a little space. You have to use a dino to get through. You got those dimetrodons, which are the smallest, so the easiest. Then you have this little spot back here. I don't know why I didn't put this in the underwater ones, but I'm not gonna change it now, so deal with it. Next at 43.5, 19.5. We're here at the swamp castle. You got a nice little poison wyvern, so watch out for those. And in this tower, you can walk right in it. And then here to the side you can see the entrance. You got this little bit of space back here. Beds do not work in this. Beds do not work here, by the way. You got here, back here a little bit. And all the way back here. You do have a second entrance. If you go through this one, you just come out at a different tower. Next at 70.7 and 40. We're at the Wyvern Cave. I'm right down here. You can kind of see the dent into the wall. This one is too small to fit in, but this top one, you have to crouch and you can get in. And you got a little bit of space back here. Beds do not work. Next up at 61, 44.8. Quick look around, you got the green up there, the Redwoods. And we're just inside of the snow mountain. If you go down here, you can see this kind of arch kind of shape. And when you go back here, you can see the hole. You can fit straight through, so this is not the best cave. Rathole. This is not the best rattle, you do have a little space on top. Beds do not work here. 82.1, 59.3. Quick look around. Look at this little flat area with the rocks underneath. If you go into the left corner, you do have a little space back here. When raiding it, if you go into the water, there is a chance of getting anti-meshed. It happened to me a couple times. At 84.4, 62.6. Right here, we're close to the other baseball, which is over there, I'm pretty sure. And over here you got this little bridge, you got these rocks, and if you go down, you can see in this corner that there is space over there. You cannot walk in here though, so you're gonna need a Pelagornis, maybe an Ophis even works. And then you have this little space back here. However, beds do not work. Another Pelagornis rattle at 72.2, 69.4. We're in the desert, next to these castles, and in this corner over here, you can see where it's broken off. There is some space back here. There's a bush in the way, of course. Wait. Now you can see it better. Try Pelagornis in there. And then you can go into this castle. You have a little bit of space in the corner, but not that much. Beds do not work here. Here we are at my favorite castle at 45, 86.7. It's a giant castle next to Redwood, in the Redwoods, next to the new island. And you have this right tower over here. If you go to this right tower, you have underneath here a little entrance. You want to go in here, you have this first room. And to the right you can see it kind of goes into a rat hole. There is some space back here. You could use a Pelagornis to get through here. It's a bit lighter now. You could use a Pelagornis to go through here though. And then you do have a pretty OP spot, because you cannot walk through here at all. And then you have a couple more rooms, but those rooms are not that special. Beds do not work. Next up at the same castle at 43.3, 86.2. Next to the red orb, same castle, next to the bridge. And right by this pillar that's touching the grid, that's touching the bridge. You're gonna need a Pelagornis to go through here. And then you have this space, you got a little bit of water room even. And on top, you can also go past this wall. And you have a little space back here. Next up, again the same castle at 4386.5. Next to the red orb. You got this castle, you can go into this tower, there's multiple entrances sadly. And you have a bit of space inside of this tower. Down below here. Which there is a little entrance in the back. This one is pretty bad because of all the entrances, but it's a nice little hideout. At the same castle at 43.3, 87.1. Right here you have the tower and a little bit of the wall. And right here you can see the wall is a bit broken. Well, you cannot fit through here, you're too big, so you need a Pelagornis. Once you're in here though, you have a bit of space. To the left here and in the back. Beds do not work sadly. Underwater rathole number 1 at 75.96. You got these floating rocks right here. The desert right there. And down here you can already see the little edge where you can go through. And you got this little space right here. It's not bad, it's not good. It's just okay. Next up at 5.8, 57.8. In this big crater. Kind of by the end of it. If you go down here, you can see the little edge over here. If you go down, well, okay. If you're epileptic, yeah. I'm very sorry, I don't know what that was. Stop it. In this corner, you have a decent amount of space and another very small entrance. So this one is really good. You have 2 small entrances. And a decent amount of space for a base. A replicator does fit here, so that's very nice. Next up at 11.1, 65.6. Quick look around, again, here's the crater. And then right here you got this little... It's not a mountain, but a rock sticking up. And underneath there you can already see the holes. You have a little bit of space back here. Of course, this spot is not that great, you don't have a lot of space and there's 2 entrances. Next spot at 5.6, 59.7. A quick look around, again in the crater. And right here you got the entrance. It might be a little hard to find, but you will see the hole down. I don't know why my screen is doing that. You're gonna need a Dimetrodon to get down here. Because that's the only creature that fits here. You can just ride it and ride straight down. Then you have this little space. This spot is great for placing a tech bunker. Because you're gonna be able to make a lot of compartments down there. And if you place a tech bunker, your beds inside will actually work. So this spot is really strong. Really small entrance. Next up at 77.9, 34.8. Quick look around. Again near the Wyvern Cave. But this time for underwater. If you go underwater, you can see this edge and you can already see the entrance right there. This one is not hard to find, pretty damn easy. And you actually have a decent amount of space. This spot is not bad, you can go all the way to the right here. There is a second entrance right here though. To the right, but it's not too big. This spot is not terrible. Sadly, beds do not work it up. Next up at the desert, 85.5, 70.7. Quick look around. If you go down at the courts, you will see this little corner. It already looks like something is there, so this is not hard to find. And when you go in here, you will see it's a decent size. It's a decent sized entry. You got a nice little place for some turrets. You got a little spot to the right, maybe for a generator. And over here, you also have some space for a little base. Next up at 4.6, 63.5. Quick look around, don't worry about this, it's just testing. Right here you do have these pillars and you can see there's a bit of space behind there. Well, you can go down here. You can go right a little bit, there's nothing there. But if you go to the left, you have a decent amount of space. And another small little choke point to defend. The good thing is beds do work, however that comes at the downside of being 6 times damage. Next up at 6.8, 56.5. Quick look around, you got this mountain here, you got the trench, and at the end of the trench, if you go down here, you can see a bit of space behind this hexagon pillar. If you go behind here, you got a little bit of space to hide out. If you build your base kind of high up here and have the rest all defenses. Here we have a pretty small one at the border at 1.5, 31.9. Quick look around. If you go down here, you can already see there is space underneath here. If you go in there, you have a bit of space. Of course, this one is not great, it's very small. Next up at 27.7, 29.1. We're near the blue up again. We're in this little castle. If you go down here by this side, you have this little entrance down here. It's a really small entrance, so that's pretty good. You could have some defenses here. You can have a little bit over here as well. And if you go under the stairs, you have the main rooms. It is not big by any means, but the entrances are really small, so this would be a pretty decent spot. However, it's not really a rat hole. Next up at 13.8, 33.1. Quick look around. Oh, the sun is burning my eyes. Anyway, it's right over here. If you go down at the coordinates, you will see this. You got these little edges, and underneath there, you can already see that there is a lot of space here. So if you go in here, you can go to the left and have a decent sized rat hole. However, the entrance is also pretty big, which makes it a lot weaker. Next up at 78.3, 13.3. Quick look around here. If you go down, you got this little... you got this platform with the hole in the middle. And right there in the corner, you can already see that it goes down and there's a lot of space here. So if you go in there, you do have a pretty big rat hole. Of course, basilos and everything fit in here, but you also have a decent amount of space to put defenses. Next up at 5.8, 60.7. Here we are. If you go straight down, you can see these hexagon pillars sticking out. And right there you can also see there is some space for you. So if you go down here, you do have a decent amount of space to the left and to the right to build a pretty good, well-defended base. And if you're wondering, you can also fit a bunker right here, which makes the spot a lot better. That was all the rattles for Ragnarok. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching and see ya.